Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the CFL Fans in the USA podcast. Rick Crabb here joining you again, and of course joining me as always, the moderator of the CFL Fans in the USA podcast, Mr. Phil Hall. Phil, happy Canada Day, happy 4th of July weekend, happy weekend of football, except for the very last game, of course. How have you been, brother?
Oh, everything's good. Happy Canada Day and happy 4th of July to the people up in Canada and the United States. I kind of feel like, after watching that game on Sunday, I kind of feel like all those soccer fans in North America, pure disappointment and sadness for my Hamilton Tiger Cats. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna rise above it. Get well soon, Bo Levi. We love you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and yep, that's definitely the black and gold elephant in the room this week for the CFL for sure.
Oh
And
man.
as a fan of, whether you're a fan of the Tiger Cats or just a fan of the league, though, you gotta feel for Bo Levi and for the Tiger Cats, though, because it seemed like Phil, up to then, even in that game, it looked like they were rolling against Winnipeg, and it seemed like so promising, and it seemed like they were loading up for a cup run, and who knows? Who knows what his recovery will be? Maybe they might make a late run late in the season, or maybe Trey Ford might even figure something out. I don't know. That game didn't look like it, though, did it, though?
Hey, it's CFL, so anything can happen. So one day you're cold, one day you're hot,
Right.
Look at BC and look at Calgary right now, so.
True that. True that. Well, let's get into it real quick. For those who don't know, Bo Levi Mitchell was carted off in his game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Basically, it looked like when he was sacked, his ankle was rolled on, and he was carted out of Hamilton Stadium, and hopefully hopefully, he'll make a recovery. Let me switch over. I was going to read the article, but we already mentioned that. I'm just going to read a quick statement from the Tiger Cats president. Okay, it says that Bo Levi Mitchell underwent successful ankle surgery this morning and is in good spirits. We expect him to make a full recovery. His focus now turns to the rehabilitation process, which he will approach with the same drive he has shown throughout his career. The support for Bo has been tremendous all around, especially from our incredible fan base. We look forward to seeing Bo back on the field in the black and gold. That was from Orlando Steinauer, the president of football operations. Now, folks, this show is being recorded on Tuesday the 7th, so there may be some more updates about his condition throughout the week. If you don't hear from us, that's why. Phil, have you heard anything more recent than that? I think that statement was made like Monday morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's the latest I heard about that. I just heard that Bo Levi sent a thank you for the prayers and support on his Instagram, and pretty much a lot of people around the CFL family and the Cat family. Hell, I even saw a couple of NFL guys just like telling him good well, all that stuff. It's like the whole nation and actually the whole North America is just giving him get well soon. So it's a big blow, but you know what? I think he's the type of guy that he's gonna still be with the team no matter what, and he's gonna give positivity to Trey Ford because negative stare about Trey Ford, but I see the greatness in Trey Ford when he was in Edmonton. So it was just a little sample size. It was a sample size. I'm not going to rush to judgment that he wasn't that good. He just came in there quickly, but I think the whole practice, we'll see how he is to practice, because it's going to be a tough one this week at Saskatchewan. So
no doubt. No doubt. And like as you said, it's like they basically gave him like a small sampling, kind of like what you would do, I guess, for like a preseason quarterback. But
yeah,
maybe after a full week of practice, maybe he'll figure a few things out, and maybe they'll surprise some people again in Saskatchewan this coming week. But
they might be. Don't be surprised. They might be either get a guy in free agency or try to trade for a backup for Trey Ford. So who knows who's out there?
Yeah, and they still have some good receivers. They still have Kenny Lawler. They still have Mang, and I think what might also help them, Phil, is their running game, because if they can get Roundtree going, and McManus ironically is now healthy, so if they can get those two going, maybe that might help them also.
Yeah, and their defense was lights out that game, man. Trust me, we're going to be talking about Winnipeg problems with quarterback too, but the defense was there. They showed up. They answered the call. It's just like, he got all the talents around him. I trust me. And even Trey Ford almost won that game because Lawler dropped an easy touchdown at the end of the game, and that would have been the backbreaker for Winnipeg. So Trey Ford can do it. I believe in Trey Ford, and this is honestly, this is your time. This is your last time. Make a break. If not, I don't know. You won't be a starter somewhere. That's how it goes. You got to take your opportunities at your best right now. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
we will certainly talk more about that game later on when we do our picks.
For sure.
There's another story I want to mention too, Phil, that last few weeks we were knocking the Argonauts for not supporting their team. They're spending enough money on management is spending enough money on their team and things of that nature. Bear with me. I had that story. I don't know what the interwebs did with it, but there we go. Okay. We just found it. This was from a Facebook page called Toronto Culture. Okay, it says, Rogers Communication is buying the remaining 25% stake in Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment for a massive $4.35 billion, taking complete control of the city's sports empire. Stupid phone. The multi-billion-dollar buyout acquires the shares from Larry Tannenbaum's Kilmer Sports, handling Rogers' full ownership of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Raptors, Toronto FC, and Toronto Argonauts. The telecom giant already owns the Toronto Blue Jays and the Rogers Centre, meaning a single corporation now holds the keys to nearly every major professional sports franchise in the city. Kilmer Sports will retain ownership of the WNBA expansion team Toronto Tempo, as well as its recent investments in the PWHL. Rogers expects the deal to close in the fourth quarter of 2026, subject to regulatory and league approvals. Moving forward, the company plans to sell a minority stake in its consolidated sports and media portfolio over the next year to unlock long-term shareholder value. What I found interesting about this, Phil, is two things. One is the Blue Jays have a contract with Sport, I think it's called Sports Channel. They carry all the Blue Jays games, which is a rival to TSN, which I believe they also have stocks in. And also, they own Rogers Centre, which the Argonauts have played before. And I'm wondering, Phil, if down the road, if they have a stumbling block with BMO Field, I'm wondering if we could see a return of the Argonauts to Rogers Centre. What do you think of that?
Well, my question is on that. How much percentage of that $4 billion that the Argonauts going to get? Because you know how the pie is going to be. They're going to 9 out of 10. They're going to be like 65% going to be the Blue Jays and the other teams, and then the Argonauts get 5% of that money or stuff like that.
Right.
My thing is, and if TSN don't make it like a deal in the future, I wouldn't be surprised Sportsnet will take over CFL.
Right.
You know, and now the pros of this, more local eyeballs will watch the Argonauts. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
If more local people, if this is a Rogers thing, they'll definitely have local television for the Argonauts. So that's a good thing right there. So BMO Stadium, going back to Rogers Stadium, Rogers Center, I missed them playing at the Rogers Center, actually, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so
even though it looked like they, for the Blue Jays, though, they did a big rehab of the Rogers Center / Skydome to make it more of a baseball only. I mean, they reconfigured the seating. They changed a lot of, like, I think they have, like, some, I don't know, entertainment areas now that used to be like the McDonald's and the Hard Rock Cafe and all that other stuff. But, I mean, I enjoyed myself when I went to a baseball game there. So, you know, I kind of, they keep that. I'm curious what they're going to do, especially with the league changing their field field dimensions, whether not they'll still stay at BMO or go to Rogers, or, as I mentioned, Rogers also owns a concert arena, which is, according to their website, is a temporary arena where I'm going to see an AC/DC concert up there. I'm wondering if they may raise that to build a new stadium too. Or
yeah, I was about to ask you that question. Do you think possibly they're going to have a new stadium for Argonauts only, or no?
It's hard to say. I would say right now no, only because they're not drawing. If they were like a big draw, you know, they consistently sold out at 20,000, and they were fighting with Toronto FC or any other tenant at BMO, I could see maybe, okay, yeah, then build them something. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing because, you know, when, like, we're baseball fans, so obviously I'm a Pirates fan, and the problem with the Pirates is not have enough money. One, we're a small market company, and two, the TV deal's crap.
Right.
So you go to LA, you go to Baltimore, you go to DC. Well, DC and Baltimore got the same TV network. It's up to like billions and billions of dollars, but the AT&T Sportsnet in Pittsburgh only has $16 million offered to the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, right now, actually, with Baltimore and DC, that's changed. It used to be that Masson had the Orioles and the Nationals, but the Nationals dropped out of it now. They have this crappy little thing. I've seen, like, them and some other teams, they have something called Nats TV. And I saw, like, when the Orioles played the Reds this weekend, they have something similar called Reds TV. So I think it's like Major League Baseball is just giving them their own little networks. I think they're like offshoots of like the Bally Sports Network, because I think they had some financial issues. I think maybe Major League Baseball is taking them over, but
maybe, and maybe this is a big if they can have more content if they're going to have the 25% ownership, and I'm surprised the Bills ain't part of it because they're part of that partnership. They should have more content with the Argonauts, definitely, like side shows or behind the scenes shows and stuff like that. I know that the fact that even though I badmouth Sportsnet, AT&T, they have behind the scenes Pirates baseball, Penguins baseball. You got pre-shows, you got post-shows.
Mm-hmm.
You can do, the sky's the limit if you can put it into it. So Who
Sure,
knows?
and I know that the Blue Jays affiliate in Buffalo, they kind of struck a partnership too, where they were like trying to entice fans in Ontario, Toronto, and in Ontario to come to Buffalo to watch their games. So if they're buying more into, if they have that partnership with the Bills already, and they're conjoined with Rogers with the Blue Jays, so we might see something like that happen now.
And that's the thing, and as like the team, like you can sell this team if you like. I mean, like to the Toronto, you can sell it to the Toronto fans. Like, hey, they had the most Grey Cup champions. They're the most prestigious team in the CFL. They are right now, even though they're 2-2, they can actually be in the Grey Cup this year because they got a good enough team to do it. And you can totally spend that to the people. Like, you can spend that to the people of Toronto, definitely, you know?
And I think also, like I mentioned last week, I'm not sure what the status of the Buffalo Bills new stadium, but next year, since they're going to have the same field dimensions as the Bills, I don't know how it would work with the Bills. I know with the Ravens and M&T Bank Stadium, any event that happens there, the Ravens get a good cut of it. I mean, whether they have a college football game, an Army-Navy game, a Metallica concert, whatever, the Ravens, as part of their little sweetheart deal with the state of Maryland, they get a percentage of any events in that stadium. So, I mean, why not have, like, the Bills, I mean, let the Argos have, like, a preseason game or two in there. In
don't you know, don't you know, like, next year they have college football games at BMO next year, you know that?
I did hear something about that, yeah.
Yeah, I think Syracuse is playing there next year. I think they had like a 4-year deal to have college football games at BMO. I don't know if that's an Argonauts Bills deal, but like slowly, like they are going to have dimensions of the NFL and college football, and I know that's a big pill to swallow to all your CFL fans, but it's already starting already because they have college football games in Toronto BMO Stadium. So you're going to see, for once, you're going to see a full crowd. You're going to see a sellout crowd of a football game next year. So,
and those the new field dimensions, I think it was done partially because of BMO and Molson in Montreal, smaller stadiums. I think it won't be too bad because I've heard some of the other stadiums, like some of the newer stadiums, like with Saskatchewan, they're complaining that the stadium was built for the 110-yard field, and now it's like some of those seats that might have been premium will now be kind of like almost like obstructed view because of the new dimensions, and I don't know. So
it's like the one time you can look this up. It was there's like one time they had that exhibition NFL game in Winnipeg. They played at Princess, and they had the Raiders versus the Packers, and the stadium was for CFL dimension, and they messed it up big time, and they had to like play 80 yards football, and it was such a disaster. They didn't have no kickoffs or anything. It was.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that game, and I've been meaning to watch it. I keep forgetting, but probably after we record tonight, I'm gonna watch that on YouTube. That looks like I'm gonna see what a train wreck that thing was. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it was crazy. It was like NFL, like people don't remember that. Like NFL will sneakily have a game in Canada like once every 10 years before people know. Like they didn't know. Like, oh wow, they playing at Winnipeg and stuff like that. Like one year they had Seattle play at Vancouver.
Right.
And it was insane. So like next year is gonna be crazy. I know the hardcore guys are gonna say, "Oh, this is the end of CFL." I don't think so. It's just I ain't gonna like it, but I will adapt to love it. I guess I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen, and of course, I'm kind of worried about the scoring. As when we get to the picks, we'll talk about that. But it's like. There have been several touchdowns that have happened this year, Phil, that probably won't happen next year because the end zone won't be as deep, and
like I say, some of those quarterbacks, they know how to use that. And my thing is, they talk about going to be more scoring, and this is my problem on this. Like, how going to be more scoring, and we got kickers that's pretty much good with that kind of field goal situation. I don't know if you have enough field goals in that situation. I don't think you have a lot more rouge and field goals. Watch.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, yeah, I think the motivation was he thinks that the commissioner, Stuart Johnson thinks that teams will be apt to try to attempt touchdowns instead of attempt field goals more often, but I don't know if that's really going to be the case. I think it'll be the opposite. I think, some coaches might lean more conservative with that, but I hope not. But
it's, like I say, it's like I want to be surprised, and I want to be surprised in 3 or 4 years we'll go back when it used to be,
Right.
Like, we tried this out, it didn't work. So who knows?
Let's see. Well, let's see. We have some other news. Some good news for your Tiger Cats. So apparently, someone got an extension on your team.
Yeah, Keandre Smith. He got a 2000 till 2027. So pretty much, we got the most expensive wide receiver core in the CFL. We got guys attacked for the next 2 years. We got Smith. We got Lawler till 2027. We got Wheatball till 2026. This team is going to stay there for another 2 years, and all we need is a quarterback, stuff like that. I just think this is a good move for Tiger Cats. I think having your receiver core going to ease the pain of Trey Ford. So I'm happy for that. I'm really excited for that. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, Keandre Smith he's leading receiver, even though Kenny Lawler is the wide receiver one. But when they double Kenny Lawler, Keandre Smith get all the yak yards, and he's good. And this 1-2 duo, I still think this is the best in the CFL personally. So I think these guys are good. I think Milanovic will find a way to get these guys the ball. So hopefully Trey Ford is learning how to get the guys the ball. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get to the picks, I think you and I were talking off the air. Is there any other news that we want to discuss before we get to them, or?
How about we will talk more about it. How about Vernon Adams? I know they're against your Argos. How about Vernon Adams with 6 touchdowns in one game, man? That
crazy.
Was insane, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, it was like he looked like how Bo Levi looked against the first game in Winnipeg. It's like he just scored at will. I mean, he threw to everybody. They scored every way they could. I think he might have even thrown a pass to the rabbit in the end zone at one point. I don't know.
The rabbit returns,
Jesus.
And it was crazy how this guy plays. Like, this guy, I know he'd been through. He's like he was a journeyman at his young age. He played for Hamilton. He played for Montreal, and then he found a resurgent. Yeah, I forgot where else he played, but he had a resurgent in BC, and now he's going into Calgary. And this guy, not only he can throw, he can run. and he got receivers coming back. He got receivers, and this is the team, and maybe Brandy is on to something. And I scoff at this, but she saw something in Calgary. I'm like, oh God.
Well, she might have looked at their offensive stats. Suppose, and I was surprised to read this, mainly because there's been so many high-scoring games. But Calgary was the highest-scoring team in the league going into this game against Toronto. So, I mean, they were in just about every game, but it was just this time they found a way to win. So.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Saturday game. That's gonna be iconic. This Calgary versus Montreal. This is what it's all about right there.
No kidding.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I agree. But there's something well, we'll get to that when we get to the Week 6 games. There's one question I have I want to ask you about with that though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, but yeah, Calgary definitely took care of business, much to my chagrin. Not only being an Argos fan, but I picked the Argos, and you went with Calgary, so it's one in the win column for you.
Oh yeah.
Then we had the Rough Riders traveling to Ottawa, and we both picked the Rough Riders, but Ottawa almost gave us both L's on that one. What is it with Ottawa, Phil? They're such a damn pesky team. They're in every single game they play in, but they can't get it done.
The thing at Ottawa is Dinwiddie's a good coach, just to let you know that.
Right.
And the fact is it was like there's a point of time of the game they just look stagnant. Like it could be the third quarter, it could be the fourth quarter, it could be the second quarter.
Right.
Unfortunately, it was the third quarter, and I think special teams actually killed them. Special team did good, special team did bad for Ottawa. Like the first half, special team, they block a punt, but they didn't capitalize for a touchdown. They got a field goal.
Right.
All right, the special team let Matthew Sexton ran back a 98-yard punt touchdown. That was, even though that was a sick play. Stuff like that. Then the offense looked from the second quarter, third quarter, the offense did quick 2-and-outs, and it was like 2-and-outs. And then suddenly, I saw the most craziest things. Like, I don't know how they got the first down. Was a couple of times. I see them botch at least 3 times in the fourth quarter the tush push. And
right.
like the second and inches, third and inches, they was botching that badly. And I was like, how is this team in this game?
Right.
And like I say, they have a lot of fight, and that's one thing going. But would they win a game? Did they have they'll fight you to the end, but they find a way in the game to just like, all right, they're stagnant to one part, So that's the Ottawa problem, and so I don't know.
Right.
They need like once in a while they need the running game to get going, and Meyer is doing good. He's 23-30 that last game. He was 259 yards, and Harding and Lewis is good, but Greg Bell was the leading rusher last year, and 45 yards, and Daniel Abiyato, I'm going to butcher that name, sorry about that, and it just fit 45 yards, 15 yards, and you got their third down quarterback with 19 yards. That's a big problem, man. I know it's a passing game up in CFL, but you only have 60 yards total rushing yards for your running backs. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, that would open them. That would open up for them for a little bit. Yeah. But it kind of reminded me of how BC was up until this next game we're about to talk about, where Game 2 and touchdown Kelowna with the Elks traveling to BC, and BC finally getting a dub, Bill. So.
Oh man, yeah. And basically, like, the offense didn't really do that great. And we'll talk about Edmonton right after this, but the defense was on fire in the second half. You know, they only had 3 points in the second half. It was like a high-scoring game in the first half. You know, back and forth, back and forth. It was pretty intense, but second half they just shut it down. Like, it was just insane how they was drawing interceptions. I think it's more for Jaro, but the way the pressure by Sankey and Betts, the whole thing, it was insane. You know, Finley finally got an interception. Sankey got an interception. Kent Jr. got an interception. It's like 2 forced fumbles by McKinnon. You know, it's like, that's how it goes. And how about the crowd in Kelowna? Shout out to those people there. Like, they made it look great there. And I kind of wish I went to watch that live. I wish it wasn't July the 4th. I had stuff to do.
Right.
I had to watch that. I had to watch it like 12 o'clock at night. But the crowd was alive the crowd was alive 2 weeks there, and that's how football should be. And it was a good experience in Kelowna. I think we're still gonna be talking about that off season. Do Kelownas deserve a CFL team, or they should have more touchdown Kelownas? But they did it right. Apple Bowl looked beautiful. The setting was great, and you know, BC just showed up, and this is what they need right there. They need to win this game. So, and Edmonton, and back to Edmonton, like Edmonton, they did all right enough, but they just got shut down. And Rankin, shout out to Rankin. We'll talk about after this. We'll talk about the players of the month. He's one of the players of the month, but he's so good. But the bugaboo is the fumbles.
Right.
That's every game he played this year, he had a fumble. That's insane. The defense looked good because they only had 7 points in the second half by BC. This is Rankin's worst game. He had 7 carries and 19 yards. But let me tell you, for Jaro, even though he had 3 interceptions, he had 395 yards and 3 touchdowns. Austin Mack looked like the Austin Mack of the old in the first half. He made that sick catch.
Right.
For that touchdown. Julian Grant, he is the perfect guy. If you want to have a slot, I don't know what they call slot guys in the CFL, but he's a good middle guy, and he had 2 touchdowns. He didn't have that much to do, but he scored 2 touchdowns when it mattered. So it was a bad day in the offense, Edmonton, but I still like this. Even though they lost, I still like this team going forward. So, who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's promising for Edmonton, but good for BC for finally getting their first W. So
I got a question for you. So, is it too early to tell about this? Do you think when playoff time is going, do you think there'll be a West crossover this year?
Is it distinct? Well, I don't know, because it depends on what BC does. You know, if BC still has like a poor record, let's see. Winnipeg, I think they, well, we'll get to that. I think Winnipeg might be scuffling unless they change things up. Saskatchewan still looks good. So really, it's Saskatchewan, Edmonton, and maybe, well, Calgary looks like they're kind of recovering. So I think you might see an East team, actually. Because, I mean, I think Toronto, as long as they keep Calgary healthy, I think they'll be good. Montreal, I think they'll be good. Ottawa, they're so damn, like I mentioned before, Bill, they're pesky. I think they might actually improve their situation. Hamilton, I thought is going to be neck and neck with Hamilton and Montreal, but unless Trey Ford figures things out with Hamilton, they might be in trouble, man. But so I think it might be I don't know. It could go either way. I was originally thinking you might have an East team crossover to the West, but I don't know. It depends on who stays healthy and that kind of thing. Right now, I'm going to say more likely East will travel to the West. But
Don't you think like the CFL West remind you of the AFC North? Like
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah,
it's
because of the markets, yeah, it's a lot of cold weather teams and stuff like that, and they're hardy, and, yeah, because I think the Eastern Division, it kind of reminds me of, like, the AFC East. Not so much of the teams, but the markets. I mean, you have Toronto, which is kind of like New York, and you have Montreal would kind of be, I guess, like New England, and, it's like Hamilton would kind of be, I guess, like Buffalo, because they're kind of like almost, like, not really a suburb of New York, but, they're they're like a smaller market compared to like Toronto or Montreal, I would guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting comparison, though. I do like that.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, and then finally we have the game that I don't know might be the one game this year that might actually be in agreement with Commissioner Johnson's thing about higher scoring games, but it was between Winnipeg and Hamilton. Oof. Well, there's one good thing I want to mention about that that's kind of like a little side note, just a little personal thing. I think I texted you about this. Shout out to the Ticats audio network, because I didn't have CBS Sportsnet and I listened to it on their radio. They have a feature where they actually invite fans to email them, tell them where you're listening to the game, and if you have any questions for the staff or anything like that. Kim and I made it on there. They announced, because I told them, said we're listening from Baltimore, we're going to see them in September. They mentioned that, and then he had somebody else right from Portland, Oregon, and then they had like a couple other like local fans like asking questions and stuff like that. But so shout out to them. That was cool to hear. That was probably one of the only good things to hear about that game. But and yeah.
And like I say, Hamilton and even Winnipeg, and they're one of the top-notch organizations of like social media and stuff like that. So I do a lot of things. Shout out to Mike Goodchild too. He's a season ticket owner of Winnipeg, but he got me more interactive with more Winnipeg organization and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And so's Hamilton too. So basically, this is two class organization of that. So shout out for both of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, early on in that game, first Winnipeg was the first to lose their starting quarterback, and it looked like Hamilton looked like they were going to roll him. I mean, Bo Levi looked great. I mean, he threw a really sick touchdown. Was that to Lawler? I think. Yeah. I mean,
Lawler.
He looked like he was in good form, and the defense was, as you mentioned earlier, they were lights out even towards the end. But then there was the sack and ankle injury heard around the world, or at least around Canada. Bo Levi Mitchell out with an ankle injury after being ankle rolled on out due to a sack. Yeah, that's
It's into me having a couple years ago. I had a dislocated ankle.
Ooh.
And I did something stupid. I went down a hill in Pittsburgh. You know how Pittsburgh is a city of hills and bridges.
Oh, sure.
And that injury reminded me about my ankle, and it was just bad. And not only that, I remember, and I'm going, sorry for that, I'm going back to NFL comparison. I remember when Dak Prescott shattered his ankle. It was the same injury, looked exactly like that. Ooh. And it was bad, and I hate to say it like that. And lucky he had that immediately surgery. We just don't know when he's going to come back, especially how old Bo Levi is. So
right.
He will come back. I just, that's the thing right there. We had opportunities to win this game. We had an opportunity to blow this game out. I just think the whole fan base at that stadium, I think the whole team was still shell shocked about Bo Levi, and Trey Ford was coming off cold. He was traded for 12 yards and an interception that pretty much he was driving with that interception, and that was a very deadly blow of that game. And what receivers didn't help him out too, and they had a nice 60-yard touchdown to Waller, and it was incomplete. He dropped it. So,
yeah, because I mean, it looked like a highlight catch, but then when they showed the replays, it was like, ooh, yeah, that would have bailed out Ford. I think a lot of people would have felt differently about him. That would have been as a touchdown, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then let's go to the Winnipeg side. I don't know, Zach Collaros was partying too much at the Taylor Swift wedding. It was just he did not look before the injury. He didn't look good. He didn't look good at all. But Winnipeg, even though love it or hate it, they always got the will of the champions. They always find a way to win, and it's not the greatest. It remind me a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Winnipeg. They'll look like dead in the water the whole game, and they'll beat you 16-14 every time.
Right.
And that irks, as a fan, it irks me to high hell. But doesn't matter. They got the 2 points, and they won a game at the East. And no matter what it is, this team should feel something okay about it because they won their game. Now, they did what they did that Hampton should have done. They rely on their running game. Brady Oliveira was massive in the second half. He was so good in the second half. It looked like the old Brady Oliveira. He was getting by the game getting near the end. He was blown. He had like 5-yard runs, 6-yard runs, 10-yard runs. Like he brought old Smash Mouth football at its finest. Pokey Wilson, he made a nice little touchdown. He made they say it was a pass, but it looked like a run to me. But Pokey Wilson did all right at that. Taylor Eczema, he's like everyone says he's the next big thing. I don't see it one bit. Right. I think Drew Brown will be starting next week. I don't know what they just signed Terry Wilson. Shout out to Kentucky, go Big Blue. They signed Terry Wilson. I don't know what that means. Zach Collaros might be out for a while. My thing is, what are they going to do with Bryce Perkins and Terry Wilson and Taylor Eczema? Like Bryce Perkins, I like Bryce Perkins, but you're going to sit in Terry Wilson, you have 2 third-down quarterbacks. I don't understand that.
Right.
But
one thing I got a question for you, though. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, as I've mentioned on this show and in the group, I'm a born-again CFL fan. This is my second full season invested, and you've watched it a lot more in recent years. They had a term that was mentioned several games this week and actually last week. How common is it to have a quote-unquote short yardage quarterback, where it seems like they use them for either if it's a goal line situation where they want to call a sneak, or if it's like a 3rd and inches and they want to do a sneak for a first down. I don't know, I'm wondering, is that a big thing in the CFL, or has it been for a while? Or
so it's a big thing because I guess they use a running. I think it started middle of 2000s, and they did. I guess I forgot what team it is. Someone got hurt, so what they did is protect the quarterback who's really throwing up. They had a third down or short quarterback was doing it.
Right.
And for me, I would use a running back. That's personally. And there's a lot of good bruisers that can get the inch. But
yeah, either way, you have the yard gap. So I don't know. I guess maybe they're figuring because I think it was the case with your Tiger Cats. I think maybe because they thought maybe the backup quarterback was taller or something. I don't know, but
like I said, like I understand that this is what the pros and cons of it. I just think I gotta say it. If I was a quarterback, and this is just my personal opinion, if I was a quarterback, and this is even like last year Grey Cup, I want the ball, and I want the ball at the most crucial point of the game. And I feel like, I feel bad mouth for Shea Patterson. Shea Patterson, he came in there and did the goal line thing, and he ended up fumble.
right.
And which would cost him the Grey Cup. And if I know David Alexander would probably say, "Give me the ball."
Right.
You know.
I'll tell you somebody else who might be upset about that too. If you have these quarterbacks in fantasy, and it's like you say you have Bo Levi or you have Ted Kelly or whatever, and then they put somebody in, it's like they've altered a touchdown from you. So I could see that's a scenario I could see too.
Yeah. And I gotta try that. Fantasy next year. I'm gonna try that fantasy CFL. I want to know they have a third down guy slot, but it's just like that's how it is. I guess that's the new normal. I don't think that. I just think they don't want to get these guys hurt. That's why. So
right. I understand.
They get these third down guys, stuff like that. And I feel like Winnipeg had two guys that could do to one pass, and unless Bryce Perkins is going to get more snaps of that, because I like Bryce Perkins. I've seen him play in Virginia. I've seen him run. I've never seen him throw up here, but I see him run the ball. He is solid as a runner. I've seen him against Virginia. I've seen him when he played against Florida at the Orange Bowl one year. He looked magical. So. I don't know. Taylor Esma, I feel like this guy, Canada want him to be the next Nathan Rourke, but I just don't see it. I just do not see it. Drew Brown going to start, and Drew Brown going to get this offense going.
Right.
But I don't know how long Zach Collaris going to be out. I don't know. He was hurt, but he was still on the sideline walking, so I don't know.
Again, folks, this episode is being recorded on Tuesday, July 7th. So, just like we said with Bo Levi, there may be some more updates about Collaris' condition as well. But if they come out after this episode airs, we will definitely talk about it the following week for sure. Definitely. All right.
And I got a question for you. You think Hamilton might be? Depends on the game. Just like this week, do you think they're gonna find a way to get a deal for some old guy, like maybe like you remember that Schillish guy? He used to play for Hamilton, bring him back, whatnot. You think there'll be a deal be made after this game?
It's possible. In fact, I was going to ask you that. In fact, I saw one thing we didn't mention in the news. The names player escapes me, but I saw the Alouettes got another quarterback. So I don't know. Maybe they might be worried about Davis Alexander's health, and we'll get to that when we do our picks for our future picks. But it wouldn't surprise me at all. Especially, I don't know. You didn't a team cut McManus or no, not McManus. What was his name? Guy who played for the Argos. Anyway, there's some quarterbacks out there. I'm sure Hamilton can probably scarf some up, or maybe even get like a UFL guy to help him out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing is that I've seen people. I've seen the Tiger Cat guy. I see Tiger Cat page is like, oh, who'll be our next quarterback now? I still say Trey Ford, but everyone's talking all these names. They have random names. They had that guy that's supposed to be banned for CFL, that Sorsby guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want.
I think he's going to the UFL. I think Mike Rapoli said, "Yeah, we'll take him." He was the only league so far because it's like NFL and CFL. Right? Nah, we're good.
Yeah, they can have him because I don't want no part of that crap, and that's how I feel about that. Stuff like that.
It's interesting because probably in a month or two after the NFL do their cuts, maybe if they're still scuffling and looking for can't get like Bo Levi back or whatever or Gallardo back, you might see some like cuts from training camp that might get a shot up there. So.
And the crazy thing is, there's so many the guys who made that transition to the NFL. Majority of them it's hard to make the team. So either they go back to CFL or they find another team in the CFL. Who knows?
Right.
So.
Actually, I'm going to look up. I forget the kid's name, but my friends in San Antonio do the Texans Talking Football. They cover the San Antonio Toros of the Continental League, and they had this quarterback for their team who did very well, who has experience, coaching and playing experience in the CFL, and he's like in his early 30s. I don't know. Maybe Hamilton or I'm blanking. Winnipeg should give him a call too, so he might be able to help him out.
That's another guy I also think of the UFL, and we're just throwing out some names here. There's a guy who's a journeyman for UFL, AAF, all this. There's a guy named Luis Perez.
Oh yeah, the Spring King. Yep, I actually have his book. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luis Perez remind me, his demeanor remind me a lot of Anthony Calvillo, and it's just like. He ain't the fastest guy, but if you block him, he'll get you the ball. He got a pretty deep ball. He'll throw you 100 interceptions, but he'll throw you 101 touchdowns too.
Yeah, and he has a knack too, Phil, of giving teams a spark. Like if you get him like middle of the season, help you with a playoff push. I remember when they did that with I forget who. The 2023 UFL, well, it was XFL at the time. He played for the Las Vegas Vipers, and then Arlington scooped him up, and he took Arlington to a championship. And then this year, the St. Louis Battlehawks tried to do the same thing, getting him from Arlington, but he has a knack for that. And part of the CFL is kind of a spring league, so it's kind of like in his wheelhouse. I think that's an excellent observation. Hamilton, Winnipeg, one of your teams, listen up. Maybe reach out to the Spring King. So
yeah, definitely for sure. And here's another question: Is Bethel Thomas still plays?
That I don't know, but that would be somebody to look into it. Even if he doesn't, he might be like. I don't know, they've had a couple people in the UFL playoffs that were like, I don't know, pumping gas or working regular jobs and retired, and then they were like, then they called him back to play in the playoffs. So I think they had a guy from the Defenders that was like that. He was like saying, yeah, I'm using my pay time off so I can play in the playoffs or something crazy like that. But,
the reason I say Bethel Thomas is Bethel Thomas knows the CFL game. He left, which I didn't think he should have left CFL on a high note. He took the Toronto Argonauts to even though Chad Kelly got hurt, he got it. It was 2 years before that. I'm sorry.
Right.
Bethel Thomas, he took them to the Grey Cup, even though Bethel Thomas got hurt and Chad Kelly ended up winning that game. But Bethel Thomas is actually solid, and if he's still out there, if you need a guy to win a couple of games, that's your guy. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out some names. I'm just throwing out options. But who knows? Trey Ford might wow you next week. He do good.
Yeah, folks. Definitely leave a note in the comments or comment in the Facebook group. See if there's anybody you think would fill in for that too.
Yeah.
But. All right.
And Trey Ford also, last time he played a great game was at Saskatchewan, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, before we get to Week 6, Bill, let's go over these picks that we had for Week 5. Now, going into Week 5, the previous week, I was 3-1, and you were 1-3. This week, you flipped the script on that. You were 3-1, and I was 1-3. So now it brings our total for the season so far. Brings me at 10-8, and you at 10-8. So we're tied again. So.
Oh man, I was this close to being 4-0 too.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so it's like I say, this is pretty good, you know. Brandy me and Brandy going back and forth. I got a game on her, so she's a little fired up. So
oh, there you go.
So I made a special bet for her. Like she was 4-0 last week, so I say, all right, you win. 4-0. Every time she goes undefeated, I let her pick a song for the highlight reel. So
oh, there you go.
That's my little gift to her. So
okay.
So her motivation is to be undefeated every time.
Okay.
So who knows?
Yeah, maybe work up an interesting Toronto versus Hamilton little side bet. You know that.
I can't wait for that bet happening because I know. Last time I had to wear that Argonaut jersey, so it was all good.
Oh man. Okay, well let's get to Week 6. Let's see what we got. All right, so the first game it looks like we have on Thursday. It's Ottawa traveling to Edmonton. All right, Bill, what do you see in that game?
I think this is going to be a tight game. A lot of people. Think this is going to be a blowout. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I really hope, and this is personally for me, I really hope Edmonton fans will come to the games because this is a good team. This is a good bunch of boys, and no matter what, they'll bust your ass every game, and they represent that town pretty well, and I think people should go to these games. And I know it's a big stadium, but I think people should go to this game, man. That's my 5 cents on it. Now, how to win this game? Ottawa got a good defense. They got a good defense situation, and they know how to stop the run. They're number 1 in the league for stopping those little quarterback sneaks. You know, all that stuff. Like, if you watch that Toronto game, they had 2 goal line stands in that game. That was pretty amazing by itself. So, this is going to be a good game. Once again, you know, we can actually watch it. It's on CFL Plus in the States. It's going to be TSN. It's going to be TSN and up in Canada. So, I think this is going to be a good game. I think Edmonton's going to find a way to win this game. I think they're going to use their talent. I think they're going to run the ball on them. And I think they're going to win. I think it'll be a hard-fought win, but I think second half, I think Edmonton's going to pull away.
Okay. I'm in agreement with you. I think it's going to be a very close game because, I don't know, that's just what Ottawa does. They're close in every doggone game. And I think... And Ottawa fans, I think you guys are going to get a win very soon. I don't think it'll be this week, though. I'm going with the Elks with you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they do for a win. I just think this team is too good enough to be 0-1, you know?
Right, yeah. And especially with Meyer at quarterback, I think, you know, they just need to... Like you said, they have times where they're kind of a little stagnant, but, you know, right now, I think, you know, I still think Edmonton will pull this one out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then we got the next one right here. This is going to be, your Toronto Argonauts, 2-2, going, once again, the Road Warriors of Toronto. They're going to go at Winnipeg at 8:30 TSN. And it'll be on CFL Plus in the States. So, what do you think about that game?
I'm thinking bounce back. Winnipeg, it'll be interesting to see what they do offensively. Didn't look like, I mean, they did just enough to beat Hamilton late in the game, but I was more impressed with their defense than I was with their offense. Toronto, it's the same thing every week with them. Chad Kelly, be careful with the football. We'll let you cook, but we're not gonna don't cook so much that you're burning stuff, okay, and setting off the alarms, okay? So if they don't do that, I think Argonauts will not only bounce back, they'll bounce on Winnipeg like a trampoline. They'll bounce on them hard. I'm going with Toronto.
Well, the thing is, I think Drew Brown, you're going to see Drew Brown's side in this game. Toronto's really good. I think they got the best. I say the best 1-2 in Hamilton. I think they have the best 1, 2, 3, and 4 wide receiver in Toronto. The key in Winnipeg to win this game, they got to slow down the tempo, which they are pretty good at that. They need to slow down the tempo, let Brady over cook, and they need to trust the running game. And I just think, I can't believe I'm saying this, they're 0-2 at home this season. They have to win one of these games at Princess, so I think Toronto might be a little bit fatigued of the road games. I think it's getting to them. I think Winnipeg will win this in a very close game. Toronto will fight and crawl, but I think Brady Oliveira is the key to this game. I'm taking Winnipeg because Brady Oliveira.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right, and then this game I'm really interested in. This is one I want to ask you about, though, Phil. It's Calgary traveling to Montreal. Have you heard the status about Alexander? Because late in the Montreal was on a bye last week, but their last game, Alexander was hurt late in the game, and I think he did come back, but he was still kind of limping and gimpy a little bit. Have you heard anything about his status as far as coming in?
Yeah, I heard him. He's practicing. I just don't know what the story on it. I just think he's practiced. He got a week off. He should be good. I don't know. He'll be like mobile, but stuff. And I just think he's gonna be ready to play. I think.
Okay. All right. So, what was your take overall on this game then?
Like I say, this is gonna be a hell of a game. Both of the teams got the momentum, but Montreal, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. The Philpott brothers are going to shine in this game, both teams.
That's right. You got both Philpotts going at each other. Ooh, that should be good, yeah.
Yeah. It's all hands on deck on offense. I know Montreal got a good defense. You got Dietrich Mills. You got Vernon Adams. You got Stevie Scott. You got Deese. You got Sneed. You got Philpott. You got Brooks. This is what CFL is all about. And it sucks. It's on CBS Sports Network, and half of America don't have it. But 7 o'clock, you should turn this on, and this is going to be a hell of a game. And I really, really believe that Calgary are going to show up and play. Calgary got nothing to lose. They play house money. Montreal looked kind of shaky against that Ottawa game, and a lot of people ain't saying about that. But I'm going to go for the upset. I really am. And I really think Calgary going to do it. I think Calgary got the arms. They got someone that they're going to win this game. I'm going to say they're going to go to Montreal. They're going to win this game. It'll be like 38-36. So I'm taking Calgary.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with you on that. Mainly because Calgary is now the leading scoring team in the CFL. And granted, Montreal does have a good defense, and they definitely have a potent offense. But I'm kind of worried about Alexander's health. I just hope they don't make it into like an RG3 situation where he's trying to, take one for the team and wind up hurting himself and hurting the Alouettes as a result. But Calgary, I'm with them this week with you too. So we both got Calgary.
Absolutely. I just think it'll be a good game. I think Calgary's gonna win. Right. So we'll see about that.
Then we have the final game. Your Tiger Cats traveling to Saskatchewan, the defending Grey Cup champs. Boy, we talked in length about the Bo Levi Mitchell situation and Trey Ford. Going through all that, how you think they'll fare against the Rough Riders?
Well, not trying to be a homer here. This is the moment of clarity of this team, and this is the part right here that either you're gonna fight for Bo or you're gonna lay down. And I love challenges like this because a lot of people are going to say Saskatchewan this and Saskatchewan that. But let me tell you something. Saskatchewan didn't look good last week against Ottawa. Saskatchewan is still missing some tools on their team. They still need Olet. He haven't played since week 2. The defense looks shaky. They don't have Milligan. I can't believe I'm saying this like this, you know. Even Keyshawn Johnson is good. He's leading the yards, all that. He's second in yards next to Tyson Philpott. It just you have a week of practice. The coach up Trey Ford. They're gonna. I don't know. I got this feeling. I hate to say this. I got this feeling. Hamilton might show up. And maybe this is my homer kicking in, but guess what? I just think this is a game right here that this is one of those type of CFL games that everyone thinks Saskatchewan is going to blow them out. But guess what? The Hamilton defense will do it, and I feel like Hamilton will win this game.
Interesting.
Hamilton will win.
It could be some homerism, but they still have some weapons, though, Phil. The X factor is what Trey Ford is going to do at quarterback. The coaching staff, if they find some plays that work with him, because I think he's a different type of quarterback than Bo Levi. But he's still, they're going to need receivers to bail him out. Lawler almost did that last week. You need him. You need maybe some short routes to Meng. He's had some success earlier in the season. The running game, I think, needs to step up for Hamilton. Get Roundtree involved. You get McManus is healthy. They traded for him this season. That turkey can't play for my Argos. He better do something for Hamilton. So, despite all that, though, and I agree with you about Saskatchewan being a little suspect on defense and a little shaky and this and that, I think they may be psyched coming back home. I think it'll be a close game. I'm gonna go with Saskatchewan to bounce back. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, like this team, I feel like CFL. I feel like every team have a throwaway game, and I feel like this is the game right here, Saskatchewan. Okay, on paper, Saskatchewan should beat them by 40 points. For some reason, out of freaking luck, it might be raining. It might be had that delayed storms or stuff like that, and it might just set their chi back. But I just feel I don't know. I just feel like Trey Ford. I know a lot of people gave a lot of slack about Trey Ford, stuff like that. I'm just gonna give him a week of doubt. I'm gonna rock my Hammer jersey and I'm gonna go for it. So who knows?
Yeah. Although they wore the Hammer jerseys last week, Bill. I don't know. You might want to go with the other variants. I don't know, the regular road white for them.
I'm gonna wear my road German Maya Masoli jersey. So
there you go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, those Hammer jerseys might have got Danhausen might have got a hold of those joints. I don't know. We'll see.
You are cursed, I tell you what, they're sweet jerseys though. I'm gonna buy a couple more jerseys, but then I'm gonna buy I got it on cue right there. I got the new BC jersey coming up, and then I'm gonna get obviously get a Winnipeg jersey, and I'm finally going to get an Edmonton Elks jersey, so I'm excited for that.
So. Yeah, I saw one Winnipeg jersey. I think it was like it's like all the teams are like they're copying the Bills with like the Pacific Frost and something Frost and Mountain Frost and Mountain Dew and everything else. But Winnipeg, I liked theirs because they had the colors, and then they had the big W instead of on the arms, they had it on the chest, and then they had the number above that. I thought that kind of looked cool. So
I I love those alternate jerseys for every team. I kind of wish Toronto bring back the darker blue.
I agree.
I know that
because it was like when I was buying jerseys for our trip last year, I saw that and I was like, what is that on the shoulder? It looked like North Carolina Tar Heels meets the Oregon Ducks. I'm like, what is this? And then I realized it was the oars of the ship. And I actually do have, check this out, I actually have an Argos jersey like that, but I had to buy this third party because I don't even think the shop sold these. If you remember when they had the Truth and Reckoning logos, all the native Canadian, we had the Argonauts with the green cats. I got the Argos version of it, and what was cool about it, it was like the regular home Argos with the oars on the shoulder, but instead of Argos, it had Toronto spelled in the native tribal language. It was like TKARONTO, it was just a different spelling of Toronto, and it had that Argo ship with the Truth and Reckoning colors mixed in, and they also had and then the arms they had like the old Argo shield, and then they had like a Canadian, like a maple leaf with like the Truth and Reckoning logo, and then had like my name and the number on the back, and the numbers were kind of like an interesting font. It had it was colored with the oars of the ship, but the oars were kind of made to look like, I don't know, indigenous people. They were made, I don't know, it's like the oars were humanized with those colors. I'll have to take a picture and show it to you, but.
Oh, that's amazing. I do have this. I have a indigenous Hannibal Tigercast T-shirt, and every year I go to a powwow up in Salamanca, New York. And actually, I'm not going this year because it's next week. Basically, I wore that shirt. Everyone's like, "Whoa, where did you get this?" I was like, "Yeah, well, CFL." I talked to some of the people. Like, hey, CFL, they're very big on Indigenous life up there. Check it out, blah blah blah. Just like, and then a year after that, some guy had a Alouettes Indigenous shirt. It was insane. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. That was probably my favorite logo out of all the Indigenous ones. That and the Argos one was okay, but they had some really cool ones. It's like BC, they kind of made it look like a Mayan Aztec thing, and then Edmonton, they kind of did their elk almost like a Adobe cave drawing kind of thing. They had some really cool stuff. I think they come out with them again this season. I might actually get some gear of teams like that.
Yeah, I might get some more of that, and that's pretty amazing stuff right there. And I really like how they put the Indigenous name because, I ain't gonna lie to you, and I'm not trying to be politics about it. They the one started this North America, and they were getting recognized up in Canada. I kind of wish they'd do that for the NFL, but that's a whole different story,
Right. And plus, I think up in Canada, though, too, Phil, I don't think it's like in our country, we have, like, the reservations for the different tribes and nations, and, it's like there, I don't think they do. I think they just, they just live throughout, just wherever they can get an apartment or a house or whatever, like everybody else. But there's probably some disadvantages because of that too. So
I remember I had a thing on the Facebook page. We talk about expansion into the USA and stuff like that, and I drew in indigenous indigenous areas in the United States and checking out to see who got teams there, who got a big city around there. I drew out Fargo. I drew out that, and I was like, that'd be a great place to that, and I think that'd be a great place to have a football team there. But I drew that out there like that, and even New York. New York is very indigenous up there too, Upper New York.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I remember I was dating somebody who lived up there briefly, and she lived in this town called Messina, New York, where if you look on the map of New York, it is the most northern point of New York, because it's kind of like you have like the top state line, and then you have kind of like this little triangle, and that's kind of where she was at. Anyway, when I drove to see her, apparently there's a reservation nearby, and I saw there was actually a bridge you could take to go to Ottawa. And going to her house and coming back, I was stopped. Well, going up, I was stopped by local police. Coming back, I was stopped by Border Patrol. And she told me later on when I got home, she said, yeah, they have a problem with them. They say a lot of people try to either smuggle cigarettes into the reservation or out of the reservation. Somehow, it's like trying to get around cigarette taxes in New York. It's like a big cigarette smuggling thing in that area, so...
Yeah, because cigarettes is cheap in reservation and stuff like that up there.
Oh.
I got a buddy who live in Ithaca Falls, New York, outside of Finger Lakes, and he lived right next to a reservation, and everything's like dirt cheap, to cigarettes, to marijuana, to booze, and all that stuff. It's like tax free and all that whatnot, and I've seen people buy packs and cartons and sell it down in their states. It's insane.
Oh yeah. And a lot of those towns, and so be careful if you live in upstate New York, man. They're cracking down on that stuff. I'm telling you right now.
And the thing is, and like I say about the expansion about the New York, I was like, I talked to someone, like I used to go there every year to go golfing and all the whatnots up in he lived near Rochester, and I told him, like, how around here about football here? It's like, the big thing is here is the college teams and lacrosse. And I was like, and I was like, do they care much about the Bills? Like, majority they do, but they're not going to drive. And people don't know this. People think Rochester and Buffalo is like right next door. It's 2 hours away.
Okay.
And it's nowhere near. New York is a big state.
Oh, sure.
And I did the Buffalo to New York City. You had to go through Pennsylvania to get to New York City. That's how bad that is. So, like I say, I'm not trying to force NFL. I'm not trying to force America the expansion thing, but there are some cities, and I've been to cities that can support a CFL team. I'm just throwing out there, and Rochester and Fargo is definitely one of them.
And they're both kind of borderish cities too, like we spoke about in that previous episode. So there's.
Yeah, and that's it is, and that's how it is. It's basically like, how can I say it? I can't just say, hey, just throw a team in there. They had to, like, show the product to the people there first. That's what I think. But
sure.
Who knows? So,
all right.
That's my ramble about cigarettes and expansion.
Cigarettes and weed and everything else, we don't want to get anybody in trouble, folks, but,
All good, so, that's what it goes. It's going to be a fun week of football this week. I really, no offense to the two games here, I still think the two games will be good, but I'm really excited for the third game, the Calgary-Montreal.
Right.
I know I had to work. I got a crazy work shift this week. I work 2 a.m. to 2:30, but I make sure I'm going to get up. I want to take a nap when I get home and wake up at 7 o'clock and watch that game. There
you go. That's one nice thing. The league is very good at posting letting you rewatch the games on CFL Plus, and then also or watch the highlights on YouTube. They're very good with that, and
yeah,
so.
And the more I'm thinking about this, like CBS Sports Network and all that stuff, like it's crazy. Like I still kind of wish CBS Sports Network still be a thing next year. I don't know, but I really hope that like they find a way to not only get the zone, but still have CBS Sports for the Sunday games and the Friday games and the Thursday game, because some people are old school and they don't know the internet. They don't know how to work the internet. They want to pay the $300 a cable and watch their sports. I have a friend like that. Who loves like CFL, but he ain't gonna go. He don't know how to put CFL Plus. He don't got a smartphone. He still got a flip phone, and pretty much he come over to my house every time and try to watch when he get a chance, trying to watch a game here and there. But I like the whole new avenue, but I kind of wish they can keep the CBS Sports Network too.
Right.
So who knows? So I don't know. So
yeah, it'll be tough because I know they're on the CBS Sports Network. I think you had mentioned they are on Paramount also, but like it is with everything else with CBS Sports Network, as soon as college football and the NFL kicks in, which they have contracts with too, the CFL kind of gets put to the side. So yeah.
Yeah, and which sucks for me because I have Grey Cup parties. I had big Grey Cup party at Dave and Buster's last year, and CBS Sports Network had it. Now, okay, maybe they have it this year. I might have it this year, but the question is, what's in the future? What's in the future for? Like, is it going to be on the Zone?
Yeah.
Or all this stuff? Like, I had to buy the Zone and then put it on my Fire Stick, and then maybe my buddy's bar will open up on Sunday for us. That's a big if.
Yeah.
And I try to have people over my house for Grey Cup. Brandy's like, I ain't gonna have all these people watching this thing. And that's the thing. And it just, it's good, but it's bad for me, just personally, because, you know, I like to connect with people watching this stuff. That's why I have the page, you know, connect to people.
Yeah.
I have friends in different teams, you know, and, you know, like every time they go to the game, say, hey, when you and Brandy go to this game, we're like, I don't know, we're going to work some things out, you know, with money-wise and passport-wise and all that good stuff.
Well, if I get to go to a party at your house for that, when I'm up in Canada, I'm going to look to see if Chewy or an equivalent of pet supply place, see if we can get like some Margot jerseys for Al Bundy or your other three kitties. I don't know.
I would love that. Yeah, she'll love that. So yeah, and like I say, like this door. Like I say, this door is like, even in Pittsburgh, this door is always open for whoever want to come here and watch the games. You guys just know my time to work. So
right, yeah.
I tell people this all the time, like, hey, whoever want to come over and watch some football, you're more welcome. We're gonna watch football because we got nothing else to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I definitely want to check with my job schedule because I put a lot of my vacation time with a Canada trip, but I might be able to have one game because the day of the Grey Cup is like 3 days before my birthday, so I might see if I can let the boss let me take the Monday off to, you know.
And another person I know I'm working on a deal with Dave and Buster's as of right now. I'm trying to get that game possible and to have that game on, and that's going to be tough because the Steelers play the Bengals that night. So
it's a Sunday night game that week?
Yeah. So I'm hoping the Steelers have a bad year, so they might flex that out. But I doubt that. But anything possible because there's hundreds of TVs and bunch of TVs at Dave and Buster's, and they can have one little spot. Now, I thought about having a private event area, but it's cost a lot of money, and I had to see who's going to go, who's going to get some money in there, and pay some money, and it's not worth it. And I talked to Brandy about that. It's like, no, because now you're going to have a place, now you're going to pitch the money and all that, you got to hound people for money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, we're playing by ear. We will have a watch party, so just to let you know on that. So
okay. And actually, there's one place I'll talk to you off the air that I'm thinking of reaching out, but I wanted to wait until this Dumb World Cup finished up with them, because there's actually I'm going to mention, even though they haven't given us any human monies or T-shirts or anything like Takeoff's had. It's a restaurant here in Baltimore called Clark Burger. Now, what's interesting about them is they're more of a restaurant, and I don't think they stay open real late. They're next to a movie theater called the Senator, which is like Baltimore's big art theater, where sometimes they have like movie premieres and stuff like that, but they show a lot of classic films and all too. They're owned by a guy who moved to Baltimore from Vancouver, and he actually has not only several varieties of burgers that he sells, he has several varieties of poutine that he sells. And it's basically a Canadian-themed restaurant. You go there, you'll get like free, you can give away he has little Canadian flags that he'll give you if you want. And they have alcoholic and non-alcoholic milkshakes there. They also have this one little dessert, and I always butcher the name of it. It's called Nomino cookies or something like that. Basically, it's like a little way. Are you familiar with them, Phil?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll be butchering that word too.
And he actually gets them from a bakery in Vancouver, but they sell them. But those things are delicious too. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe talking to him about it. And what's cool about them is they worked out a deal with the movie theater. You can actually order their food and eat that while you're watching, I don't know, He-Man or Supergirl or whatever's playing at the movies. Like at a regular movie, instead of just getting their concession. Yeah. So
we should definitely get him as a sponsor too,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I would.
Yeah.
Well, and Clark Burger also caters, and what I was even thinking of doing is getting a hold of Ron Snyder again, asking if they could somehow work out either a screening of his movie about the Stallions there again, or if they could do a thing where they show CFL games, like rent a theater, but I don't know how cost prohibitive that would be, or just they have like a special, like a banquet room where we could just watch it on TV or something. I don't know. That would... Or the possibilities. But
that would be amazing right there. I would love that big time. Yeah. Like I say, we talk about sponsors. Speaking of the sponsor, my buddy Bill Burke, he told me, hey, you're a Canadian fan, come to my bar. And I was like, speaking of the bar, Jay Goff's whiskey and beer and bar. That's the place to go. Over 300 different types of whiskeys, and this is the best place to go. And he told me, if you're a CFL fan, and we already have a couple of people who already went there. Shout out to Nick Gersha. He got the discount. Shout out to that. We're going to have that. If you say CFL fans in the USA and you listen to our podcast, you get 10% on the food. And you will hear a clip of him doing this podcast. It was fun. So, try the flatbread there. It's fantastic. And guess what? He got smoked wings. It's like smoked wings. And he got the specialized whiskey ice cream. It's insane.
Oh, man. That sounds
so
good.
Delicious.
And I looked at their whiskey list, Bill, and they do have a lot of good ones. I was surprised to see that they have a Baltimore area one called Sagamore. They actually They actually have a big distillery, kind of like south of downtown Baltimore. The next time you're in this area, if you're, I don't know, even if you're cheering for your Steelers, But just kidding. But no, if you're down in the area, or like when we were talking about seeing the NFL draft in Washington, I heard that I have yet to go there because every time I've tried to go there, they've had like long lines and stuff. But I heard they give you like a nice tour and stuff like that. So
yeah, when I'm down there, I gotta check that out for sure. So I can't wait for that. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there are plenty of whiskeys and distilleries and breweries. There's this one that Kim and I went to. They actually sell merch of the cat that they keep in the bar. His name's Ernie, and it's like they actually sell they have T-shirts and hats of cartoon renditions of Ernie. But cute little cat. You just do. They have a sign. Tell the bartender, the cat. Place is called Mobtown Brewing, by the way, but. Just ask for the cat, and he'll come up to you and let you pet him all day. And I don't know. They had like this one prissy couple at the end of the bar. It's like the cat tried to be friendly with them. She's like, "Oh, what's this cat doing here?" And it's like, never mind, Ernie, come back here. And then he's like purr, and harassing me and Kim all day while we're drinking our beer. So there you go.
I should bring that couple to my house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. It's a cat house for sure,
Yeah, definitely. All right, Phil. Well, other than we're patronizing or keeping our local economies in Baltimore and Pittsburgh, especially as far as alcohol and other degeneracy is concerned, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap things up?
Like I said, make sure you go to our Facebook page, and send some content out. We got some videos coming up soon, and keep on. Tell your friends to subscribe to this page. Subscribe, like this page, be a member. Subscribe on YouTube with this podcast. Trust me, we're doing a great job. Rick's doing a great job. It's only gonna get better by the week by week. We're gonna have possibly ex-CFL interviews. We might have current CFL interviews. We're going to have people who do stuff for the CFL. And like a lot of good things are going to happen in this podcast. And it's not just because it's a CFL. We just love football. And we just love football. We just love football at its finest. And we just love watching CFL because CFL is the equal family, community, and also the love of the game and the high stakes of the game. So please check it out, and trust me, we're good people. You have any questions, we're right here, and you have any content and topic, we all ears.
No doubt. And I'm glad it reminded me, Phil. It's one thing I did want to mention. In the future on the podcast, on the YouTube channel, I opened a second playlist called News Bits. Right now, the only video I have on there is I have a shorter clip with the interview with Ron Snyder about the Baltimore Stallions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of our older interviews, because Bill, you and I, we joke about it like to ramble, but you know what? It's just because we have fun talking about football, and we talk about a variety of topics. And while I'm hoping you're listening to the full episodes, sometimes people don't have time to do that. Sometimes you just want to listen to like something for a half hour on your lunch break, or while you're working out, or you're wrestling with the kids, or with the 4 cats, or with the goat that Phil brought home from Pittsburgh Zoo, or whatever. Just
I love that goat.
Hell yeah, that dog. But anyway, no. I'm going to try to put some shorter episodes out for you folks too, because we do get in depth with specific topics, and I think you'll find them interesting. So.
Yeah, and like I say, the reason why we go rambling and stuff like that, we're passionate about what we like, and that's CFL and football and life in general. So it's a bunch of old friends talking about football and other stuff. So. Right. We're gonna find a way to shorten stuff up, and like I say, we're gonna have people on. They're gonna talk, and we're gonna have more content for y'all. So we ain't gonna make you watch. We ain't gonna make you listen 2 hours or hour and a half for us. So, yeah.
But we are thankful that you do. If you do, so.
Yeah. If you do, thank you. So, yeah, definitely. Like I tell my buddy Bill Burke every time I mention his bar, I say here I'm gonna go to an hour and 23 minutes. That's a So yeah, definitely. He's gonna text me like, oh, is my little plug gonna be in there? Like, yeah, we'll throw it in there.
All right.
You know? So,
Okay. All right. Well, folks, thank you for letting us talk Canadian football with you. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
All right. Hey, this is Bill from Jacob's Tavern. Stop by. We're open from Monday through Saturday, and come in and receive 10% off your meal. The only one to cash in so far is Nick Gerstle.